This girl, Jamie, with you on BBC Radio Wales. I want you to meet the little girl they're calling the world's cleverest kid. My next guest adores French philosophy, reads 3 novels a day, has written 400 short stories, and champions feminism and world peace. Oh, and did I mention that she's only 8 years old? She's a child prodigy, and her name is Adora Svitak. She's from the United States and is here promoting her new book, Flying Fingers. Adora, very warm welcome to you. Good morning. Can you remember when you first started writing?
I first started writing when I was 4, and I started writing longhand, but it was mostly very, very short stories. So that was how I sort of began. But then I began really typing and beginning doing longer stories, more mature stories, when I was 6.
And what does it feel to be like a published writer? I mean, what do all your friends and your family say about it?
Well, it feels very nice to be a published writer because I feel that I can really express my ideas easily, and my friends and family are pretty supportive, but it's not a very common conversation theme or anything.
And I know you read about 3 books a day. I think it takes me ages to get through that many books. Why is reading so important to you? It's always been important to you, hasn't it?
Yes, because I can really learn about other countries, cultures, other people, and learn about their ideas, stuff like that. So it's very important to me.
And I know that you give writing presentations and you give workshops to schools and to libraries and to bookstores. What do you teach at those classes of yours?
Well, I teach, just to let your creativity flow, and I also sometimes do sentences and have them submit descriptive words and do their own sentences, so it's sort of like a real class or a workshop or something. We also, do games, interactive writing games, stuff like that.
And do you think the classes make a difference to the people who come? What do they get out of it?
Yes, I think it does make a difference because quite a few of them in my previous presentations have said that they were inspired and that they wanted to write too and stuff like that.
Now, Adora, I've got a confession to make to you. When I was in school, we were taught French philosophy and I hated it, but you love it. What interests you so much about it?
Well, it's mostly Voltaire that I like because I read Candide, and so it's really interesting because I think it's a good way for him to show other people's theories in a fun book. And also I have an open mind to philosophy, so I try to learn new things, and so that's what I like about it. It's also very good to think a lot and to think about the world and stuff, so I have an open mind to it.
And you love reading about the Civil War as well, don't you? What's so interesting about the Civil War? Why do you like it so much?
Just because I think it's interesting to see how countries wage war even in themselves, and I like seeing the reasons and how it might be avoided later, stuff like that. It's also very interesting because you can see who the people fighting were, what were their reasons, so it's very interesting to read about that sort of stuff.
And I mean, you're obviously into your reading and into your writing, but do you have time to play and do what your friends do in their spare time?
Yes, I have plenty of time actually, because I sort of organize my schedule a bit. So I do have lots of time for cooking, drawing, playing, running around, stuff like that. I have plenty of time.
I bet you're a real hit with your friends at school. Do you get asked to help with their homework a lot?
Actually, not very, very often, but I am sometimes asked to help a little.
And tell me, what are you going to do when you grow up? I mean, you're already writing books. I mean, what do you want to do when you're older?
Well, I want to continue to be a writer, but I also might want to be a teacher and a journalist.
A journalist? Oh, we don't want to do
Yeah.
that. Terrible idea. Now, this book's been a real hit in the UK and the US. Adora, will you read us something from your book?
Okay, Mr. Ralph! A clear voice called from the front of the shop. New shipment of ink! Northwick special? Ralph inquired sharply, peering over his cracked spectacles. I won't accept it if not. Garrett could not help but remember his distant cousin, Regan of Northwick, and giggle. Yes, sir, indeed it is, and no other. A slender red-head boy emerged from the front of the shop, carrying a large package in his sunburned hands. So that's a paragraph from my story, The Spoiled Prince.
Adora, I've written a couple of books, but they're not very successful and they're not very interesting either. I mean, how can I secure a big book deal in America?
In America, it's like sort of about whether the book is useful, sort of, but it's also about whether people will like the subject. So you'd sort of want to do some research about what people really like, but you also want to be writing for yourself, too.
Adora, it's lovely to talk to you, and we wish you all the very best, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your time here in the UK. It's great to have you on the programme.
Oh, thank you for inviting me.
Adora Svitek. And something tells me we'll be hearing much more from her in the future.